Good afternoon, everybody. Comes to this entitled Designing for Accessibility and Inclusion with Microsoft. Chidera, welcome. Smart, welcome. Olivia, welcome. Um, Before I start with the slide, I would want to play a a video that will make us understand what accessibility is all about. Just like a very short video. So let me share my screen and then play it.
Easier, but it can also make things possible.
The beauty when we design products at Microsoft is we want to try to make sure we're designing for everyone and every ability to be able to enable them to achieve more. We're passionate about closing the disability divide. That is, getting more people with disabilities in school and in the workforce.
So for us, accessible hardware starts with the Xbox Adaptive Controller. We needed to make gaming accessible for wounded veterans. And then that led into the development of our Surface Adaptive Kit. And then when we came to the adaptive accessories, the goal there really.
The beauty when we design products at Microsoft to be able.
And then that led
is The beauty when we design products at Microsoft is we want to try to make sure we're designing for everyone and every ability to be able to enable them to achieve more. We're passionate about closing the disability divide. That is, getting more people with disabilities in school and in the workforce.
So for us, accessible hardware starts with the Xbox Adaptive Controller. We needed to make gaming accessible
Is that
for
watching the
wounded
video?
veterans. And then that led into the development of our Surface Adaptive Kit. And then when we came to the adaptive accessories, the goal there really was to take what we had done in gaming with the controller and bring that to the productivity side.
Today, we're still extending it further for the Surface Adaptive Pen and now the haptic trackpad that are really creating a lot of different input and output modularities to be able to meet people of all abilities.
The digital pen is a powerful tool for creativity and expression. It allows users to express themselves beyond the traditional trackpad and keyboard. But unfortunately, many users with limited mobility are being excluded from this experience due to difficulties with gripping and holding the pen. The highly adaptive 3D printed pen grips for Surface Pen allow users to customize their pen in a way that is unique to them.
I have a condition called Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. It's a connective tissue disorder. It really affects my hands and it really affects my schooling. The grip of the pen that I've been using has been extending my time that I can be doing my work, which lightens my load.
It's not about us being great product makers. It's about us enabling people of different abilities to be able to tell their stories, to be able to achieve their best lives.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to our channel. where Brad and I are living the
Okay, that was like an introductory video to what accessibility is all about. Like it gives the insight into how accessibility can like accessibility can help those that are excluded when designing products. Um, we all saw how Microsoft is trying their best to bridge that gap between inaccessibility and inclusion. So I don't know what's wrong with my laptop. Welcome everyone to this webinar titled Designing for Accessibility and Inclusion of Microsoft Tools. My name is Tumini Fubara and I'm a beta MLSA. I'm also a product designer. And with me is Olivia. Please, can you introduce yourself?
Hello everyone, I am Olivia Oputa. I am a gold MLSA and I'm a software developer basically. Yeah.
Welcome, Olivia. So the agenda for this event, for this webinar is we're going to look into why accessibility matters and benefits of inclusive design. And we're also going to look into core accessibility principles, WCAG and W3C. We're also going to explore Microsoft applications and their accessibility features. And going to do a live demo on how these accessibility features work for a particular application. So we're also going to look into the accessibility consideration for other platforms and content types, example website, PDFs, and videos. Then we'll round up. Um, so what is accessibility? Accessibility refers to the practice of designing and creating things so that they can be easily used by everyone, regardless of their abilities. Deaf, dumb, blind, not able to walk, not able to use their arms. This includes people with disabilities, situational limitation, even those using different technologies. So here's a breakdown of the concept of accessibility. So accessibility gives equal opportunity. Accessibility ensures everyone has a fair shot at using something. If you're going to design an app, if you're going to build the front end or the back end of an application, you have to make sure it could even be doing building like 3D objects, like objects that we can touch and we can feel. um Accessibility gives equal opportunity, and while designing or building, we have to put it at the back of our mind, and for us to know that this thing I'm going to design or this thing I'm going to build, or it has to be accessible. Can a blind person use it? Can a deaf person use it? Can a dumb person be able to use this thing? And then accessibility is also about removing barriers. It's about identifying and removing obstacles that might prevent someone from using something effectively. So accessibility also involves inclusive design. The core idea to design is to design with everybody in mind from the beginning instead of adding accessibility feature. Like this part is talking about if you're designing an application, if you're building an application, if you're building, it could be like I said, 3D objects. Yes, whatever thing you're building, it could be even be a building itself, like an architectural structure. Whatever thing you're building, instead of putting accessibility later, you don't put it later when you're done building. Before you build, you have to consider putting accessibility before you even start building that thing you're going to build. So accessibility benefits everyone, not just people with disabilities. For instance, captions on videos are helpful for those in noisy environments, and good lighting benefits everyone, not just those with vision impairments. So what is the benefit of inclusive design? So by designing inclusively, you tap into a wider user base, potentially including over 1 billion global people who live with disabilities. Because if you're building an application, if you're building something that somebody is going to use, once you make that building, you make that thing, you build that thing, and you don't make it inclusive, you're removing a lot of population from that thing you're building. Removing a lot of people, because we all know, even ordinary in Port Harcourt alone, we know the amount of people that are on the road with disabilities. I would think they are even more than safe, like they are more than the normal people. So imagine creating an application or building something and then you're putting them out of, like, how do you want that thing to be able to, how do you want that thing you're building to be used by everybody and to be able to reach a larger user base? So one of the benefit of inclusive design. So another benefit is improved user experience. Features that benefit people with disabilities often enhance usability for everyone, like captions for videos or clear and concise language. So another benefit of inclusive design is brand image, enhanced brand image. Demonstrating a commitment to accessibility shows you value diversity and inclusion, which can positively impact your brand reputation. Another benefit of inclusive design is innovation and creativity. The process of designing for a wider range of users can spark new ideas and lead to more innovative solutions. So cost effectiveness is another benefit of inclusive design. Building accessibility features from the start can be more efficient than retrofitting them later. So overall, accessibility is not just the right thing to do, it is good business. It's a larger market reach. So core accessibility principles, WCAG. The core accessibility principles can be remembered with the acronym POUR, which stands for perceivable. Information and user interface element must be presented in ways that users can easily perceive with their senses. This includes providing alternatives for non-text content like images with captions, ensuring content has sufficient contrast for visual impairments, and offering audio descriptions for videos. Um, this part is talking about whenever we're building something, you have to make sure that um, the way to the accessibility feature of that thing should be perceivable. Like for instance, whenever if you check out some icons, let's say icon, um, okay, icons generally. even somebody that doesn't know how to read, somebody that doesn't know how to read, if you look at all these icons on the phone, on softwares, someone that doesn't know how to read will understand that this thing means so and so thing. So what they are trying to say is, what we're trying to say here is that whenever you're designing something, make it understandable, make it perceivable for the users that are going to use that thing. And another thing too is, when even down to videos we watch online, even down to TikTok content you create, if it's possible for you to even add subtitles, some people call it um text descriptions. If you can add subtitles, it makes somebody that is somebody that doesn't know how to hear, that's a deaf person, to understand what you are saying or what you are doing in that video. So another accessibility principle is operable. The user interface and navigation must be functional and operable. This means allowing full functionality with a keyboard, giving users enough time to read and use content, and providing clear error messages with recovery options. For instance, I'm using a software, and okay, when they say fill in, I'm trying to sign up on this platform and they ask me to input my email, and then I miss the text for email, like tuminifubara@gmail.com. So missing that at alone, there are some like a UI that doesn't have the core accessibility principle in mind before designing that UI. That UI wouldn't put an error message to that particular box that shows that, oh, you omitted something, oh, incorrect email address. So that is what they are trying to tell us, that one of the core accessibility principle is to make sure that what you're building should be able to be operated by these people, and not just them, but everybody. When we're designing for accessibility, we're not just looking at them. You will look at them, and you also make sure that, okay, that thing that you're doing for them can also be used by normal individuals too. So another core accessibility principle is understandable. So the information and the user interface should be clear and easy to understand. This involves using clear and concise language, structuring content logically, and providing predictable behavior so users know when to expect when interacting with the interface. Just like skipping the login option of not skipping the login option, sorry, skipping the sign up option of an application. Like, you just move to an application, and without sign, like, the whole thing is not just understandable, you're moving to the application without signing up. So the information that you put on whatever thing you're building should be clear, and it should be concise and easy to understand. And content should be structured logically. You're welcoming the person to the homepage of that app or website. You say welcome to so and so. Instead of the welcome to be at the top, you're not putting it at the last part of the page. So it's not done like that. It has to be arranged very well. So another core accessibility principle is robust. Content needs to be compatible with current and future user assistive technology. This ensures that assistive tools like readers or magnifiers can interpret the content accurately and provide a smooth user experience. So these principles form the foundation of accessibility guidelines, like the Web Content Accessibility Guideline, and are crucial for creating digital experiences that are usable by everyone. So here we're going to look into some Microsoft applications and their accessibility features. Um, Microsoft tools come packed with built-in features that can make your code and development workflow more inclusive. So, one of the application is Visual Studio. We all know what Visual Studio is for. It's our compiler for coding. So this development environment offers a variety of accessibility features. There's screen reader compatibility. It allows developers who use screen readers to navigate the code editor and user interface effectively. Visual Studio also supports high contrast themes for improved visibility, like for people that don't see very well. There are some colors that are not like very good for. Some people have color blindness. There are some colors that their eyes can like detect. There are some colors their eyes cannot detect. So having these high contrast themes on Visual Studio helps these people. And there's also keyboard shortcut that ensures users can perform actions without relying solely on a mouse. So another platform is GitHub. So GitHub is a central platform for code collaboration. GitHub offers features that promote accessibility. For instance, developers can contribute meaningful commit messages using proper formatting, avoiding jargon, making the code history easier to understand for everyone. Additionally, GitHub supports Markdown formatting, which allows developers to include alternative text descriptions for images within their code. Alternative text descriptions, it's more like you're having a picture on a particular page, and for people that have they can't see, people that can't see and they're using this application, when they use their screen reader to for their screen reader to read what is on their screen, what is on their app, when they use the screen reader, um once there's a picture there, the first picture, there's a picture there, maybe a boy riding a bike, the screen reader will tell them picture a boy riding a bike, because you as the developer, you as the designer, you attached a you attached a an alternative text to that image, so it makes it easy for them to understand what is on the screen. So another application is Microsoft Word. So Microsoft Word also uses alternative text to images in documentation using clear headings for better organization and leveraging the built-in accessibility checker to identify potential issues. So Microsoft Excel uses screen reader compatibility for data tables, utilizing keyboard navigation for efficient use, and employing color contrast tools for better visibility in spreadsheet. PowerPoint incorporates closed captions for pre-recorded demos, using speaker notes effectively to enhance accessibility for presentation and leverage high contrast time for improved visibility. So they basically have like the same features on it. So Teams, Microsoft Teams make use of live captions for meeting. Like while someone is presenting on Teams, you can, if you can't hear them properly, you make use of the live caption for Microsoft Teams, and you can also make use of the screen reader compatibility for chat and document sharing, and you can also utilize the keyboard shortcuts on Microsoft Teams too. So recently, while I was researching on this topic, was going through the App Store, and then I saw this application saying AI. Like I've never heard of this Microsoft application before. So like the accessibility feature on seeing AI is top notch. Like, and it's even focused on the blind people. I haven't like watched a demo on how someone was using seeing AI. That was on YouTube, and it was really amazing. On seeing AI, you can just make use of the application as a blind person. This blind person can like use seeing AI to snap whatever thing he's facing, and seeing AI will tell him what that thing is. It reads text, it recognizes scenes and objects, it can describe your surrounding, including people, their emotions, and it provides spatial awareness. It also identifies colors using the camera. It scans barcode and it detects lights. So and it also provide audio cues indicating surrounding light levels. So I want Olivia to join me to demonstrate how to use the accessibility feature in a Microsoft tool. Olivia, over to you.
Okay. Hello everyone. I'm Olivia. I already introduced myself earlier. Yeah. So I'll be sharing my screen now. Yeah. So I'll be showing you some accessibility features from Microsoft basically, and how like this benefits those with accessibility needs basically. And I believe that Sumini has already like walked you all through what accessibility is, its benefits and all that. So I'll just be carrying out like a very, very basic demo. Yeah. So I'll be showing us some of the accessibility features on M365. So I'm going to be using Microsoft Word, right? But everything that's here applies to every other application on M365, Microsoft PowerPoint, Excel, OneNote, and all that, basically. But before I comment, I would like us to know that most of these features here can be built by yourself, right? You can easily build most of these features that are already on these platforms using Microsoft Azure Cognitive Services, right? For example, the detect feature, which is basically the first feature I'll be talking about, is also available on PowerPoint, right? So with detect, you can, you don't need to like type, or let's say like while typing, normally we would type. Let's say someone who has issues with spelling, or or can't, probably doesn't have their limbs, like their hands in proper shape, or cannot type or whatever. Like if you were at the beginning of this call, you would see a video too many played. You would see one or two persons with their limbs or their hands disfigured and all that. So those type of persons can't exactly, use a keyboard properly. So what most of these people would do is they would use like the detect accessibility feature. So to use the feature, you have to like go to the home tab and click on the detect icon here. It's just very easy basically. When you're using this feature, you have to like ensure that you are like connected to the internet. And if you're actually looking at the screen, you'd see that it's actually typing right now, right? Yeah. So one major use will be for people who have issues with their limbs, and also probably people who have dyslexia or have spelling issues and all that, basically. Yeah. And most of all, you need internet. Yeah. So that's just one example. And this doesn't just apply to Microsoft Word. You can use it on Microsoft PowerPoint. You can use it on Microsoft OneNote. You can use it on Microsoft Excel, basically all Microsoft applications on MS365. Yeah. So moving on, I'll be talking about the next feature, another accessibility feature in MS365, which is read aloud. So basically, this is another feature in MS365. Yeah. So read aloud for people with accessibility needs. So one thing I forgot to mention about the detect feature is that it is basically doing, or the concept behind this feature, that is just basically doing speech to text conversion, and that's like one of the cognitive um, services on MS on Microsoft Azure. Yeah. So just like if you use like one of those cognitive services to convert like speech to text, you can use it to convert like text to speech, and that's what this read aloud feature does basically. So it's also one of the cognitive services on Azure as well. So I'm just saying you can do all these things by yourself. So just a quick demo how you can use it. You can, I think you can go to, is it sorry, the review, yeah, the review tab, and then you can click on read aloud, or another way you can do it. I don't know if you guys can hear it. Yeah, but let me just pause it. Another way you can do, you can place your cursor where you want it to start reading from. You right click and then click on read aloud, basically. So that's it. Yeah. So I don't know if you guys can hear it, but let me try to like ensure that my audio is up. Okay. So let me just try it now again.
This is a great feature for those who struggle to process written text, have partial sight, or blindness. In the Review tab, just click on Read Aloud and then listen.
Okay.
Feature 3. Immersive.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we're hearing you.
Okay, so I think I muted. I don't know if where you stopped hearing me from. I think I muted myself at some point. I don't know. I was talking about the third feature that is immersive reader. Yeah. So like some people have like learning accessibility needs, like some people have dyslexia, some people cannot read certain text in certain fonts, some people cannot read like a text because it's on a white background. And I was saying that I have a friend who definitely doesn't use light mode. All his devices, his phone, his laptop, whatever he's using is always in dark mode because he said he reads text better when they're like white on black and not black on white basically. So with the immersive reader, you can like do a lot of stuff basically just to suit your need, right? So to use the feature, you go to the view tab and you click on immersive reader. So when you click on immersive reader, you get to see that you can change like the column width to very narrow. Some people would prefer reading like this. Some people would prefer reading with wider columns or moderate columns. Is basically all up to you basically, right? You can also change like the page color. Like I said, I have a friend who prefers to read or can read better when it's white on black and not black on white. That's when it's basically dark mode, right? Yeah. So me, I prefer using white background and black text. I mean, I read better that way. Yeah. And you can also change the spacing basically. So is you can adjust it to what suits you better, right? So it's not just what one person or how one person likes it to be, it would be basically. So and this demo is not going to take long basically. So I'm moving on to like the final feature I'm going to talk about is the accessibility checker. Um so basically the accessibility checker, from the name you can tell that it's like a tool you can use to like check if what you are producing or whatever you are writing is accessible to all, if like everyone can like use it, or if everyone can like consume whatever material or whatever presentation you are trying to produce. So with accessibility checker in M365, you can check how accessible or inclusive your documents and presentations are. For example, the Word document here looks fine. And as someone who doesn't like have any accessibility need, you may be able to like read and consume these documents easily, right? You can look at this and be like, okay, this is a heading for a lithium ion cell battery. Then you can read through it comfortably. You in your head looking at diagram, okay, this is what they call it now. This is a diagram or a picture of the structure of a lithium ion battery. You can see, okay, when you're reading through, you can see, oh, there's a link here, and I can click on this link and access the link very easily, right? But imagine if someone is blind, or like imagine if a blind person is reading through this, the way the person would read it, like if they use like the read aloud feature, or there's so many narrators on on Windows. You can use screen reader, you can use a narrator on Windows, or you can use like the read aloud feature basically. So if I'm using the read aloud feature,
Li-ion cell. Lithium-ion, Li-ion. Batteries constitute by
so
far the
this is
most
how the
competing
person would
technology that
be.
has been finding wide applications in both mobile and stationary applications. Many emerging storage technologies are being benchmarked against this due to its wide prospects, applicability, and technological maturity. Check out this link to find out more about Li-ion cells.
So basically, the way he read it, he didn't even come to this text, to this image, right? And there's an image on the document. So imagine if someone is blind, that means the person will miss the fact that there's an image on document. It didn't even read the image on document, and then it just said check out the link to find out more about lithium ion cells, right? And it didn't talk about the link in any way. So with the accessibility checker feature, if you go to sorry, trying to yeah, if you go to review and you click on this, you would see that there's so many features. If you show you like too many features you can incorporate in your text currently, like color and contrast. For the media and illustration, it's showing that we have one media, and what we need to do is like include like an alt text, right? So if you want to include like an alt text, I think you can right click and you can do this and then click on view alt text and then include like an alt text or something. So you can like include like structure of and I basically, or you can click on generate all text for me if you want. Yeah. So and also another thing you need to notice that there's some images that might not have like a description, or you're just using it for like decoration purpose, right? You're not exactly like using it for like how this one is basically. You can mark it as a decorative basically. Yeah. So also another thing is if there are tables, you'll be advised to like include like putting headings and all that, but there are no tables here basically. So that's just basically it. And for these links, I think when you play it now, it should sound better, right? And when we did this heading, I made it bold. Yeah, for better accessibility, you can include like headings so that whoever, or should I say whoever has that accessibility need can know, okay, this is like heading one or heading two. heading 3. So these headings make them know how the structure of the document is. So like now, recently I was written no headings in documents. But now if you have like headings, let's say for example, you write like an article or something. In your article, obviously you're going to have like paragraphs, you're going to have like headings and all that. So your heading 1 or the top most heading should be like the first heading you're going to have is going to be like heading 1. And when the read aloud feature says heading 1 and then calls whatever is after there, whoever is listening will understand, okay, that's maybe the topic or something. And then the subheadings will be like heading 2 and heading 3. So heading 3 will be under heading 2. So whoever is listening would understand better of how to follow across with the articles, whatever they're using. So aside from MS365 or all these Microsoft features that are here, um, like if you followed along from the beginning, you see that 2 minutes sent like she played a video. So in the video, you see that they have accessibility features, not just as software, but also as hardware, right? So you will see people using like a different kind of gaming console because their probably their limbs are not well put in place or they're disfigured. You see people using a different pen or a different light pen basically to write because their neural networks are not so intact like our own may be. So accessibility is not just about software like we have here, text to speech, speech to text, read aloud, and all that. We also have things alongside with hardware as well. Yeah. So thank you. I don't know. Yeah. So thank you. 2 minutes, you can take over.
All right, thank you so much. It was really engaging. Mm. So now we're going to go into accessibility considerations for other platforms and content types. For websites, there's this compliance documentation that before someone builds something on the web, you have to like go through it, which is the WCAG compliance. You have to go through it to understand the accessibility features you need to implement into what you're designing for the web. So I feel like every developer, every designer, every bodybuilding for the web should be able to read this WCA compliance, CAG compliance, and also strive to meet um the web content accessibility guideline standard for optimal accessibility. So WCAG compliance includes clear and concise language, alternative text for images, keyboard navigation, proper color contrast, text transcript for audios. So the clear and concise language, you have to make use of plain language and avoid jargon. For alternative text for images, it describes images with alt text for screen readers. Keyboard navigation, we have to ensure full functionality with a keyboard for users who might not be able to use a mouse. This keyboard navigation is very essential because if you notice, the shortcuts on different apps are different. You might go on for instance Figma. The shortcut for some shortcuts on Figma is different from the shortcut you can use on another design tool. So another WCAG compliance is proper color contrast. So you have to maintain the sufficient contrast between text and background for better readability and then there's text transcript for audios. So you have to provide text transcript for audio contents like podcasts or videos. Okay, so we have the accessibility considerations for platforms and content types for PDFs. So for PDF, we have the tag structure. So create tagged PDFs with proper heading hierarchy and logical reading order. Searchable text. Ensure the text within the PDF is searchable by assistive technologies. Alternative text for images. Include all text description for images embedded within the PDF, like Olivia showed us how to do it in Microsoft Word. So you also have to make use of accessible fonts. So using decorative fonts that might not be recognized by a screen reader, this decorative font, not just, I feel like most technologies, it's not just, it's very difficult to, especially this one that reads resumes. I think one of the rules for a good resume, they will say do not use decorative fonts so that I don't know what they call that software that reads the resume for you to be able to, okay, I think is it ACA or so, I don't even know. For you to that reads your resume for you to match the description of the job description. So in this WCAG accessibility consideration, they said use accessible fonts. Like do not use all these decorative fonts. Even using them to design itself is actually, that's why most designers stick to poppins, because poppins is okay. If you can even make use of your monstera, it's still fine. Still fine. Because decorative fonts cannot be detected by screen readers. Cannot be detected by screen readers. So another accessibility consideration for videos is closed captions and transcripts. So when making videos, like I said earlier, you should be able to provide closed captions or transcripts for the video content. Captions, transcripts, some people call it subtitle. And there should also be audio descriptions. Like for complex visuals, include audio descriptions that tells what is happening on the screen. So sign language interpretation, consider incorporating sign language for wider accessibility. So general consideration, mobile friendliness, ensure all content is accessible and usable on mobile devices. And use of ARIA attributes. Utilize ARIA means accessible rich internet application attributes to provide additional information for assistive technologies. Another general consideration is testing with assistive tools, sorry. So regularly test your content with various assistive technologies to identify and address accessibility issues. Olivia showed us one of the ways to test Microsoft Word documents to know if it is if it has accessibility issues, which she showed us that one of the issues the document she had there was that the image did not have an alt text for someone that's for the screen reader to read aloud to someone that cannot see. So by following this accessibility consideration, you can create content that is inclusive and usable by everyone, regardless of their abilities. So questions, feedback, summary. Any question? Any contribution? No question. Okay, so there are good. I already created a list of some Microsoft courses that you can take. Okay, there's a hand.
Yeah, I have a question. So, like,
All right.
do you have any idea of how one can get a role in relation to accessibility, or like what roles are there open and stuff like that?
Okay, okay. Accessibility is actually very vast. But if someone is to pick a niche within in accessibility, I feel like the person can be an accessibility consultant, because I noticed that Microsoft alone, apart from they have product designers and UX designers in Microsoft, there's a particular set of people in Microsoft that is called okay, they are called the accessibility team. Apart from the design team and the developers team in Microsoft, they have this team called accessibility team. Like this accessibility team, um, you can't create an app for Microsoft without that app passing through the accessibility team. Like they must check that app to make sure that it moves, like it ticks all the accessibility boxes before it is released. You understand? If it doesn't, they'll have to like send it back. You understand? So I feel like one of the roles for accessibility should be accessibility consultancy. And if someone has a passion for design and a passion for accessibility, I feel like the person can be a product designer focusing on accessibility or something. But accessibility, and then I think there is something they call um quality assurance. There's a role called quality assurance. I feel like quality assurance today also focus on accessibility for softwares. But within years, like while the technology is expanding and things are being built, there are many roles. But I feel like quality assurance also has like a mix of accessibility in it too. So, but then again, accessibility is something that anybody can do, irrespective of your field. Even if you're a builder, even if you should be able to have this empathy or say, this thing I'm building, can somebody that is blind use it? Can somebody that has disability use it? That empathy should be able to be there in whatever thing we're building. So I think did that answer your question well?
Yeah, yeah, you did. Thank you.
Right. Any question? No question. Okay, so I created a list of some Microsoft courses that can still open our view and open our mind and make us to understand deeply what accessibility is all about. And um learning these courses, I think you can also add it to one of the courses that you've taken, you understand? So I'm going to just share the link to let me share the link or share the link on. Okay. Okay, let me share the link here to those courses. All right, thank you everybody for attending, and I hope you gained one or two from this session. Thank you. Olivia, thank you so much. Chidera, Debbie, thank you for attending.